Now, going over to the Culture Pod podcast, you have Planet Fitness trending for having a sex offender as a membership, as well as the individual he was also taking pictures. So, not great news. The company is being boycotted more and more for being controversial, especially in the United States, where the policy that they are very proud of and promulgating is they allow you to use whatever restroom you want based on how you identify. And in the U.S., especially, that's a very controversial thing, and especially because when you consider there are children that go into these restrooms, these locker rooms, and you have adults changing. And this controversy really brewed to the surface when you had a biological male shaving in the women's locker room in front of her name eludes me at the moment, but a nice old lady, and there's also a child in the room. And the old lady confronted the gentleman and said, "Hey, you don't belong here." And the gentleman claimed to be part of the LGBT QIA alliance or team. And the lady went to the management and she said, "Hey, I have a concern. There's a full-grown man in the women's locker room with children there, and he's shaving." And instead of vindicating her and saying, "Hey, this isn't appropriate to be in front of a child," quite the opposite happened. They actually banned her membership for bringing that to their attention. And we've seen employee handbooks leak where their company policy is if you misgender someone, you're supposed to apologize, and you may be fired for that if you're an employee. And if you're a member, the same applies as well. So they have been going viral on social media, not in a good way. And even you saw this very similar phenomenon with Bud Light, where they went radio silent on social media for a couple months. And it was so bad, people would go back to the old post, and as a youth might say, ratio them by giving comments that are really just critiquing their business ideas. Or I guess this might be a cultural idea. I'm not sure how you classify it from Planet Fitness, but let's pull up to their stock market. I mean, the company's still 6-month increased by 29%, which usually hindsight's always 2020 when it comes to investing. And the past month is down about 5.67%. Now, granted, you always have to be careful when it comes to single variable analysis. I'm not saying it's all attributed to this negative publicity, because again, there are some people who will buy a Planet Fitness membership because of this policy. Now, I would debate, and I believe that if you look at the breakdown of the demographics of who goes to the gym, and Planet Fitness isn't. Some people debate it's not really a gym because you're not supposed to work hard, or they don't really want you to push yourself. I still don't think short term that's going to be good for their finances. I think they will alienate more people than they gain in terms of new membership. Though I would be fascinated here, because again, the U.S. is a very diverse country. Maybe your area of the U.S. they're actually increasing their membership and they're actually doing better because of this. I mean, let me know. I'd be really fascinated to hear either way if they're doing worse or better. Because again, it is fascinating to see how the U.S., even though we're one country, some states can be completely opposite when it comes to policies and culture. Now, again, it looks like their 52-week high is still $84.48 per share for their stock. 52-week low is actually $43.13 per share. And it looks like all the major news articles, when I go on Google and Brave, they're all still referencing these controversial things that have been happening when it comes to their restroom policies. Now, going back to this specific instance, now this is brought to us thanks to Libs of TikTok, and as youth might say, viral to say the least, got 2.9 million views, as well as 32,000 likes within the first 48 hours of posting earlier this week. Now, Libs of TikTok, she says, quote, "Planet Fitness claims its member safety is a priority. So why did they allow Adam Yindana, a known sex offender, to become a member at their gym? Adam followed a woman around Planet Fitness and took pictures of her. His membership wasn't revoked until women filed a police report. Is this how Planet Fitness ensures their members' safety?" Unquote. Which, yeah, that's not a good thing to be known for, to say the least. Now, interestingly enough, I'm not sure how many clubs actually do background checks when it comes to that kind of stuff. I mean, considering they have public facilities that include restrooms and changing rooms, it'd probably be prudent of them to do that. But I don't know if Planet Fitness is unique in the fact that they allowed one of those people to actually register as a member, and they didn't really do a background check. Now, the fact he was walking around the gym taking pictures of women, I can't help but fathom how no one locally stopped that. Because again, I mean, more often than not, well, at least in Texas, that would not stand, and the man would be made fun of and subsequently probably tossed out. Because again, it's just not appropriate. Now, going to the comments, one of the first ones comes from Elon Musk, who simply had 2 exclamation points. That got 3.7 thousand likes. Let's see here. And going to Paul Zazupa, he says, quote, "Not only does Planet Fitness not protect the safety of their female members, Planet Fitness actively takes steps to ensure that they're threatened. They force women to share bathrooms with men. This is sexual assault. And now we find out Planet Fitness is allowing known sex offenders to be members, unquote. They got 850 likes. Now, it looks like that complaint was from 2023. There's a lot of things coming unearthed from the graveyard of Planet Fitness. Pismo says, quote, "This is from 2023, so it seems like Planet Fitness has been complacent in grooming children for some time now, and they're still doing it." And that was a screenshot of a tweet from Redux, and they say, quote, "A man has been arrested in connection to multiple indecent exposure incidents in a women's locker room at Planet Fitness in Georgia. Staff said that Jacoby Dixon had a right to use the women's facilities even after exposing himself to a teenage girl." Let me reread that because it's so morally and mentally vacuous, perhaps you didn't comprehend it. A man had been arrested in connection to multiple indecent exposure incidents in a women's locker room at a Planet Fitness in Georgia. Staff said that Jacoby Dixon had a right to use the women's facilities even after exposing himself to a teenage girl, unquote. And that got 1.5 thousand likes, which, again, this is something where wind back the clock even 5 years ago or 6 years ago would have been unthinkable. You're exposing yourself to a child that's so morally vacuous, I could barely talk. Well, granted, you might joke and say I could barely talk in general. Fair. But I can't believe the staff said, oh yeah, he has a right to do that. And again, there are some people who agree with this. Anecdotally speaking, I haven't met any of them, but you see them online. They're very active and proud. I mean, but let me know, have you ever met someone in the real world who is really promulgating that is a good idea? Now, you also have Random Libs. It says also Planet Fitness. And is a picture of a very creepy looking gentleman with a t-shirt, well, trench coat. T-shirt says Vote D, a trench coat, and he has an old timey camera walking into the women's restroom. He says, "Relax, lady, I'm transgender." That got 1.1 thousand likes. You have Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, "The sooner Planet Fitness goes into bankruptcy, the safer women will be." I'm quoting 2.2 thousand likes. Let's see here. Emergent Perspective says, quote, "Apparently criminals have caught under the fact that Planet Fitness will allow you in, defend you no matter who you are." And is a news clip of the New York Post. And the New York Post says, quote, "Inmate who escaped prison nearly 4 months ago captured leaving a Planet Fitness 200 miles away." They got 309 likes. Yeah, Libercat Media TM saying, quote, "They are all in on this policy. Check it out. Equinox, LA Fitness, YMCA 24-hour. And there's a says, etc. Allow all men in women's spaces. Women are not safe at public chain gyms anywhere. Cancel your membership immediately and either work out at home or find a local gym." And this is, I took a picture of a placard now. I mean, this isn't something where they just printed it out on good old fashioned, 8 by 11, what is it, 8.5 by 11 printer paper. Oh no, LA Fitness paid for that's a high quality placard. I mean, it's got multicolor, I was about to say embroidery, that's for shirts. It has a multicolor ink on it. So that's not cheap. And LA Fitness has their logo on there, multicolor logo. And it says LA Fitness, and it says transgender individuals may use the locker room associated with the gender with which they identify, unquote. Grammatically, that also sounds awkward as hell. That did get 602 likes. Let's see here. Branos says, quote, "A judgment-free zone should not mean allowing predators to have access to women." And it's the Planet Fitness logo with their cliche thumbs up saying, quote, "We're just trying to be inclusive, guys." And the trad guys saying, quote, "You're just trying to be inclusive of creepy guys," and quote, getting 587 likes. Let's see here. A couple of people bringing up the stock market and this decline. American Archer says, quote, "Is this how Democrats and the media ensure equality and protection for women?" And there's a picture of, what is that fake, the swimmer the swimmer who identified, he was 400 and 500th best swimmer in the male category, but then became number one in the female category when decided to identify as such. And what was it? Got 551 likes for that picture on the podium. Let's see here. Scrolling down, you got one bad dude saying, quote, "Planet wokeness deserves everything they get," unquote, getting 287 likes. Let's see here. Matthew J. Show says Planet Fitness is just run by idiots, unquote, getting 113 likes. Old School Eddie says, quote, it seems Planet Fitness is only interested in cash and wokeness. The safety is not even on their radar, unquote, getting 116 likes. Scrolling down here. I'm trying to find any contrarian statements. I haven't seen them thus far. Let's see. Ed Reener simply says they should rename themselves to Planet FU. That's pretty much how they feel about their female members, unquote. Getting 95 likes. Kathy Brock NP says, quote, Planet Fitness is headed for bankruptcy, unquote, getting 43 likes, which I don't think so. Again, if this happened in January or December, maybe. I mean, that's where an overwhelming majority of the revenue and sales come when it comes to the fitness industry because of New Year's resolutions. But again, I mean, they've got all that money. They're good. You'll have some sales throughout the year, but it pales in comparison to January. So I don't think they're going to go bankrupt. I mean, boycotts are so short-lived. This has got a lot more. It's been trending much more than other boycotts that kind of fizzled out. But I don't know. Do you think it'll be so bad their finances will actually have to declare bankruptcy? Again, the stock has gone down, but hasn't cratered to, because again, their 52-week low is like $44 per share, give or take. I mean, it's not even at an all-time low when it comes to their stock. So, I mean, in terms of PR, they're doing terribly. I mean, they are getting ratioed, as you might say, left or right. But again, their stock is relatively stable, only down a little bit. It's not at an all-time low. But let me know, do you think they'll actually have to fold up shop because of this? I mean, the boycott would have to heat up exponentially, and again, it's staying viral. But how many people are also realistically are they actually canceling their memberships, or they just kind of disgusted, but they still go anyway? Because again, it's a different product and experience versus the Bud Light beer, which is very easy to boycott. There's a whole shelf of beer next to it. All it takes to boycott that is moving your hand a couple inches to the left or right and picking out a better case of beer, which is pretty much impossible not to do. I mean, anything's better than that. But nevertheless, when it comes to gyms, there may only be one gym in your town. There may very well only be one or two. And maybe you don't have the finances or the square footage or the resources available to actually have your home gym, or maybe because of your health, you can't just go outside and run. I mean, it's not the best thing for your joints to be on the concrete all day. I understand that. Or is it cement? One of the two. But as always, let me know. I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.